I'm Mr. X. Who are you?
I'm Batman.
Hey guys, so excited today to bring you this custom, life-size 1989 Michael Keaton Batman bust. Woo! That was a mouthful.
That's what she said.
Today we're going to do an in-depth review on this piece, and I'm going to share one of my favorite childhood memories with you guys. As the Extreme channel is pushing towards 50,000 subscribers, these are just a few of the statues we are giving away on the journey there. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. As I said, today we're going to look at this custom Batman bust. This is from the 1989 original Batman movie with Michael Keaton, and I'm very excited to have him on the table because this comes from the same custom group that created these two pieces right here. First, this Henry Cavill Superman bust, which I absolutely love, and this Christopher Reeve Superman bust. And they have a bunch of other stuff in the works. Some of it I'm going to get, some of it I'm not, even though I want to buy it all. Now, custom means it's a private unlicensed commission. They did not get Warner Brothers or whoever owns the rights to this permission to do this. But I couldn't pass this up, and I think they're going to do a matching Joker, so I will be all in on that. As I said in the intro, one of my favorite movies was, I remember seeing this in the theater. I think this was the first comic book movie I actually saw in the theater, so I got to see it come to life, which was amazing. Not only that, but I was visiting San Francisco when it came out, and we went to the theater. They oversold tickets. Back in 1989, they didn't have like an electronic system based on how many tickets. So we actually sat on the stairs in the giant theater to watch this movie, and it was amazing. Every single part of it. And to this day, I still absolutely love this movie. I think it's genius on so many levels. I don't think it's the best Batman movie out there, nor do I think Michael Keaton is the best Batman, but I still absolutely love the movie. The sequels with Michael Keaton, not so much. Now, I ordered this piece based off of the success of their last two pieces. However, I saw a lot of progress photos and even in-hand photos that I simply was not a fan of. So I was really hesitant, but now that he's here, kind of a spoiler for the review, he's done incredibly well. I am not disappointed. So let's jump into that, starting with the concept of this piece. Now, with busts, it's always an interesting concept because there's not really a lot going on. They're what you would call a museum style, like they're posing for a picture. They have a base, usually part of a torso, and a head. But let's take a look. On the bottom, there is a small base that he is actually propped up on. And it's pretty basic, it's stone, and you don't really see a lot of it because of the leather cape that's covering it up. But you move up, you see the upper part of his abdomen. You see the classic Batman logo that he displayed in the movie. I really like the fact that you can see his cape and it goes all around the front and the back on this. Kind of different from the previous Superman pieces. Then up at top, you have this boxy Batman cowl. Now what's interesting is this is what it looked like in the movie. Now when we talk about concept, I think likeness falls into this category. And as you see, really with him, the likeness comes down to the costume, which I think they did an excellent job. The mouth part that you can see, and kind of a spoiler, there's two switch out mouthpieces. And then the eyes. Now what they've done here is very interesting. They picked specific expressions that he made in the movie. There were multiple times where his eyes darted to the right, and that's what they're showing right here. Now with the mouthpiece I'm showing, it's actually my favorite, but I think the likeness is a little bit off on this one. I think it's more on the other one, which we'll look at in design. And then, obviously, you see his pointy bat ears. Now, I think they did a great job. It's clear who this is. I don't think anyone would mistake the likeness. It's really all you want. I like the fact that the cape is covering up the parts here that you wouldn't see, the shoulders and arms, which as you guys know, I hate that with busts. So I think the concept's a 4 out of 5. Really impressive. However, I don't think the likeness is 100% with this mouth plate. But let's talk about the design of it, which will include some of those things, and we'll talk about the mouth plate switch outs. So really quick, there's not a lot to assembly because it was just him and the mouth plate, but let's look at the unboxing. Now, it was a giant box, as busts mostly are, which attributed to a very large shipping cost. Inside, what they used to pack it were kind of these soft sponge foam type things, which we ended up having a huge Nerf war in my house with these. Batman was wrapped extremely well, as you can see right here, so no damages or anything like that. And then the mouthpieces were almost wrapped like Russian nesting dolls. They had about 50 layers to each one to unwrap. So there you go. Now the two different mouth plates. They look almost identical and they're kind of freaky when they're not in him. Looks like a little mouth right here. Now, this is the exclusive version, meaning not all of their versions are going to have the switch outs. I don't recall which one is the regular and which one is the exclusive, but I'm pretty sure they only made 40 of the exclusive, and the rest of the pieces they're making, which we'll talk about in value, are only come with one mouth plate. The fact that they chose mixed media, which is fabric, so this is leather right here, on at least fall leather. It might be fake leather on the outside, and you have kind of a soft material on the inside. I wasn't digging, but I think it works really well with this piece. Also, I like the fact, like we talked about, you cover up the little part that's the base. Let's do dimensions. So I believe it's supposed to be 31 inches high, and it's actually a little bit taller than that. I would have to say this is closer to 32 inches maybe. The widest point is probably his shoulders, a little over 22 inches maybe, a little under. And the deepest part is probably right around 11 inches or so. Now upstairs, actually, I have all these DC busts, from Custom to Queen Studios. Now, I'm not sure if he's going to go next to the Christopher Reeve Superman or the Queen Studios Batfleck bust. If you want to see where I'm going to put him, make sure to check out the Extreme Channel Instagram, Facebook page, and TikTok. Now, there is one issue with the design. The mouth plates from below leave a little bit of a gap. See this right here? However, I'm never going to be looking at it from down below, so I'm not too worried about that. So I think design's a 4 out of 5. It's not incredibly complex, but there's not a lot going on, and I think they pulled it off well. Now we're going to look at the paint and sculpt, and there's some things on here that are a little iffy to me, especially on the paint. Even my wife, when she saw the paint, she's like, it's a little iffy on the cowl specifically. I think the mouth is done fabulous, but let's check it out. All right, let's start at the small base that you really can't see. So it is a triangular shape. And it's got kind of this stone gravel look to it, which doesn't really have any ties to the movie, but I think it's a good neutral choice. You have a little bit of brown mixed in there, so it doesn't override too much black with the statue. Cape looks good too. Like I said, I don't know if this is real leather or fake leather. It is fairly wrinkled from the packing. This will be the back, so no one will see that. So that's a little bit of an issue, but obviously you can find a way to de-wrinkle it. But it's a nice thicker material. Now, on the cowl, there's a lot of imperfections. You can see them right here. And I don't know if they're paint-based or sculpt-based. I tend to think they're paint-based. Not really a fan of this little spinal part right here. Kind of weird, but thankfully it's the back of the statue. You see a little bit of basic paint job up here as well. So the nice thing is most of the issues I see with the paint on this black is really not somewhere you're looking at. But definitely not as good as their previous pieces. I think there's a lot of room for opportunity. Now, granted, a real Batman cowl would probably look pretty similar to this, but I don't think that this was intentional. I think it's just a little bit of poor quality on the paint job compared to some of their other pieces. Now, what's interesting is they didn't really have that many issues with the portrait, which we'll talk about in a second. Now, here's his torso down here, not overemphasized muscles like in the new Batman movie outfits, but I think it's done well. I love that classic yellow, a little bit sloppy on the paint there too, you see that. But again, that to me, it's really more about the portrait. So I can get past all those things because I really like what they did with the portrait. Let's start with the eyes. First, fantastic looking eyes. They look real. The black paint is very reminiscent. I remember how, I've talked about this during a review before, in Batman 2, the second Batman, he actually ripped off his cowl at the end and the black paint was there before, but not after. And it always made me wonder, if he's in such a hurry, an emergency pops up, he needs to throw this on, he has to take time to paint his eyes. But look at the pupils. They look real. Very well done, and I like how the paint around it is kind of caked on, and look at those eyelashes as well. They are real, their hair. This company has really done an amazing job for non-silicone pieces to make them look like they're silicone. And the same thing can be said about his mouth. It's creepy looking how real it is. From the painted on stubble to his lips being pursed together like that, really, really impressive. So like I said, I can get past some of these issues I'm seeing with the cowl and some of the sloppy paint, because up here I think this is a 10 out of 10. Just a really well done job by them. All right, so sculpt, they didn't go overly muscular like we talked about on here, and I have to watch Batman 1 again to see if that's accurate or not. I imagine that it is decently accurate. I love the mouthpiece. I love the eyes. I think the sculpt's a 4 out of 5. I think they nailed it. Almost a 5 out of 5 on this piece, but like I said, the likeness isn't quite there. And paint, other than some of the weird issues we saw and imperfections we saw on the cowl, which maybe that was intentional. I know they're all hand painted. It's still pretty good. So I still give the paint a 4 out of 5. I don't think this is as good as the 2 Superman pieces they did, but I really, really like it. Now let's talk about value. So for the first 25 pieces they made, you get a little bit cheaper price. It was $900. Then shipping was like $650, $700 because it's quite a bit. You saw how big the box is. So you're about $1,700 all in for this. And they're making 89 pieces, and I think the price raises up a little bit for later pieces, and it depends on what shipping prices are. As you know, they're through the roof right now. So I think the value's good. You know, there's not a Michael Keaton bust out there, and he is a beloved Batman. So I definitely think I could get my money back. I may even be able to make a profit because it's done really, really well. And with only 89 pieces, I'm kind of thinking of like when Queen Studios made their Joker bust. They made about the same. They made, I think, 100 of those, and it goes for outrageous prices. While this isn't as good as that, it's still pretty damn good. So I do give it a 4 out of 5 on the value. Now you would think, Mr. X, you keep scoring at 4 out of 5 on everything. That means the overall score is a 4, right? Wrong. The last score, the X Factor score, is how cool is it overall? Does this grab your attention? It really does for me. It looks like a museum piece. I'm impressed. I love it. I think they knocked it out of the park. They continue to do great products, despite a few small issues we discussed. So I give it a 5 out of 5. I think it's an awesome piece. Absolutely love it. I can't wait to see what they're going to do in the future. To win one of these statues, all you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, you've hit that bell notification, and then just drop a comment below. Every 5,000 subscriber milestone, we are going to do a random drawing and pick a random comment and give one of these statues away, plus some additional ones I'm not showing right now. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Let me know what you think of this piece. Is it better than the Superman's? Where does it rank with that? Comment below. That helps enter you into the contest. Also, make sure to give me a like on the way out. I really appreciate it. And subscribe if you want to see future stuff like this by hitting that picture of me. Talk to you guys soon. Take care.